The night it all started, I wasn't supposed to be home. I was out with my brother, Kyle, watching some awful action movie and drinking beers, trying to unwind from a brutal week at work. Halfway through the movie, he got a call from his wife, something about their kid throwing up all over the living room. He bailed, and I figured I might as well call it a night too. I wasn't in the mood to sit in a dark theater alone. Ashley thought I'd be out late. She had made a big deal about how I never spend time with my family, and practically pushed me out the door when I mentioned Kyle had invited me. Now I was starting to wonder why. I didn't text her that I was coming home, didn't call, just drove. The first thing that hit me when I walked through the front door was the smell. Not her usual vanilla-scented candles, not the lingering scent of her perfume. It was cologne, strong, musky, and absolutely not mine. Something was off. The living room was dark except for the faint glow of the TV. The sound was low, just a quiet hum in the background. My heartbeat picked up, but I told myself I was being paranoid. Maybe she had a friend over. Maybe I was imagining things. Then I saw them. 2 wine glasses on the coffee table, a half-empty bottle of red, and next to it a man's jacket. I didn't recognize it. Something inside me snapped. I wasn't the type to jump to conclusions, but this wasn't just some innocent get-together. My stomach was in knots, my hands were ice cold, but my body moved on its own. I headed toward the bedroom. The door was almost closed, but not completely. Enough for me to hear muffled voices. A laugh, her laugh, the one that used to be just for me. I pushed the door open, and there they were. Ashley, half-wrapped in a bedsheet, her hair a mess, looking like she had just been caught robbing a bank. And him, some guy, sitting on my side of the bed, shirtless, frozen mid-movement like a deer in headlights. For a second, nobody spoke. The only sound was the creak of the bed as Ashley scrambled upright. My vision blurred at the edges, a rush of white-hot rage surging through me. But my voice was eerily calm when I finally spoke. "So this is what you do when I'm gone?" Ashley's mouth opened, then closed. She was processing, calculating. Then she scoffed, like I was the one inconveniencing her. "Oh my God, Jake, it's not what it looks like." I barked out a laugh. A sharp, humorless sound. "Not what it looks like? Really? That's the best you've got?" The guy, whoever he was, finally found his voice. He grabbed his shirt from the floor and started stammering. "Look, man, I didn't know she was married." I turned on him so fast he flinched. "Shut up." He did. Ashley threw the sheet off, standing up like she actually had the audacity to be pissed at me. "Why are you even home?" she demanded, arms crossing over her chest like she was about to scold a child. "You were supposed to be with Kyle." I let out another laugh, but there was no humor in it, just disbelief. "Wow, that's what you're focusing on? That I'm home?" She rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic." Something inside me snapped. I took a step closer, lowering my voice. "Who is he?" Ashley didn't answer. The guy did. "Ethan," he muttered. "Look, man, I swear." I ignored him, my eyes locked on my wife. "How long?" Ashley shifted her weight, tilting her head like I had just asked the dumbest question in the world. "Jesus, Jake, don't make this into some big thing." Some big thing. I stared at her, trying to find even a shred of remorse in her face. There was none. Just irritation. Annoyance. Like I was ruining her night. I took a step back, my head nodding slowly as the weight of it all started sinking in. The late nights. The sudden changes. The coldness. And now this. I exhaled, slow and controlled. "Get out." Ashley's eyebrows shot up. "What?" I turned to Ethan. "You. Get out. Now." He didn't need to be told twice. He grabbed his shoes, his jacket, and bolted, practically tripping over himself in his hurry to leave. Good. Ashley, on the other hand, didn't move. She just crossed her arms tighter and scoffed again. "You're being ridiculous." I stared at her. "I'm being ridiculous?" I gestured to the bed. "You literally just got caught screwing some guy in our house and I'm the ridiculous one?" She had the nerve to roll her eyes again. "God, Jake, it was just fun. You're acting like I murdered someone." Something about that, about how easily she dismissed it, made the anger drain out of me, replaced by something worse. Something hollow. I should have yelled. I should have thrown things, broken something, done something. But instead, I just nodded. Okay. Ashley narrowed her eyes. Okay, what? I didn't answer. I just turned and walked out of the room. I was done talking. I didn't slam the door. I didn't punch a hole in the wall. I didn't yell or curse or demand explanations that I already knew would be nothing but bullshit. I just walked. Through the hallway, past the living room, right to the coat rack where my keys hung. My hands were steady, but my chest felt like it had a bomb strapped to it, ticking down, ready to detonate at any second. Behind me, I could hear her footsteps. Slow at first, then faster when she realized I wasn't stopping. Jake, she called, her voice sharp. Where the hell are you going? I ignored her. Jake, louder this time, annoyed, like she had the right to be. I reached for my keys, but before I could grab them, she grabbed my wrist. I turned, and there she was, standing in the dim light of the living room, her hair still a mess, her eyes flashing with irritation, not guilt, not regret, just irritation. You're seriously leaving? She demanded, like I was the one who had crossed a line. I stared at her. For a moment, I thought about all the years we had spent together. The vacations, the nights we stayed up talking, the mornings she used to wake up smiling at me like I was the first thing she was happy to see. But that was a long time ago. That version of her didn't exist anymore. This woman was a stranger. I yanked my arm free. Yeah, I am. She let out a sharp laugh. Oh my God, Jake, stop being dramatic. It was just one time. One time. I blinked at her. That single sentence told me everything I needed to know. She wasn't sorry. She never would be. Sure, I said, voice flat. One time. Her lips pressed into a thin line. She wasn't stupid. She knew I didn't believe her. But she also knew she didn't have to try too hard. She thought she had me figured out. Thought I'd cool off, come back, let it go. Because that's what I'd always done before. Not this time. I turned, grabbed my keys, and walked straight to the bedroom. If I was leaving, I was taking my stuff. That's when she lost it. The moment I yanked a duffel bag out of the closet and started shoving clothes into it, her whole attitude changed. What the hell are you doing? She shrieked. I didn't stop, didn't answer. She stormed across the room, grabbing my wrist again. Harder this time. Jake, stop. Stop. I didn't. I'm not kidding, Jake. Stop acting like a child and put your stuff back. I pulled free and kept packing. Ashley wasn't used to this. She was used to winning, used to talking her way out of things, twisting words, making me feel like I was overreacting. But she must have seen something in my face, something different, because her voice changed again, softer, sweeter. Jake, come on, she murmured, stepping closer. You're not really gonna throw everything away over one mistake, are you? I zipped the bag and slung it over my shoulder. You already did. She stared at me, jaw tightening. Then she laughed. A sharp, cruel sound. Oh, please, she sneered. Like you're so perfect? Like you've never made mistakes. I turned to face her. Did I ever cheat on you? She faltered, just for a second. But I caught it. Then she doubled down. You know what, Jake? She spat, arms crossing. You're pathetic. You're boring. You never even try anymore. No wonder I needed something else. No wonder I needed a real man to make me feel alive. I felt something in my chest go cold. She was trying to hurt me now, trying to make me react. Because that's who Ashley was. She couldn't stand losing control. She wanted me to fight, to scream, to beg. I didn't. I just smiled. And that scared her more than anything else. Good luck with that, I said. And then I walked out. I didn't look back. Not when I stepped over the threshold. Not when I heard her footsteps storming after me. Not even when she started yelling like a lunatic. Jake, you are not leaving. Do you hear me? You're being a complete idiot. I reached my car, tossed the duffel into the passenger seat, and yanked open the door. The engine roared to life as I gripped the wheel, jaw clenched so tight it hurt. Then bang! I nearly jumped out of my skin as something slammed into the hood of my car. Her phone. She had thrown her phone at my car. I whipped my head to the side, and there she was, standing barefoot in the driveway, face twisted in fury, her chest rising and falling in rapid, erratic breaths. Are you insane? I barked, my voice finally cracking. Her hands curled into fists. You're really doing this? Over nothing. Nothing. She still thought she could manipulate me. She stormed up to my window, slamming her palms against the glass. Jake, get out of the car. Right now. I didn't move. Her lips curled into a smirk. What, you're gonna go cry to your brother? Run away like a little bitch. I inhaled deeply through my nose. She wanted a reaction. I wouldn't give her one. She leaned in closer, her voice dropping into something almost sweet. You know you won't really leave. You need me. I turned my head slowly, meeting her eyes. That's when she flinched, because for the first time she realized she was wrong. I didn't need her. Without a word, I threw the car into reverse and gunned it out of the driveway. Ashley staggered back as the tires screeched against the pavement. In my rearview mirror, I saw her standing there, arms crossed, smiling like she had already won. She thought I'd be back. She thought she still had control. She had no idea that I didn't drive far. Just enough to get away from her. Enough to clear my head before I did something really stupid. I pulled into a gas station parking lot, put the car in park, and just sat there. The adrenaline was still buzzing under my skin. My hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles ached. My mind was racing, replaying everything. Her smirk, her laugh, the way she had no shame. I had been nothing to her. A convenience. A doormat she could wipe her feet on while she had her fun. I reached for my phone before I even realized what I was doing. I needed to talk to someone. I needed to say it out loud to make it real. Kyle. I hit dial, my leg bouncing impatiently as it rang. He picked up on the second ring. Yo, what's up? I opened my mouth, but for a second, I couldn't say it. If I said it, it was real. Jake. I exhaled sharply. She cheated on me. Silence. Then, what? I swallowed. I caught her. Some guy, Ethan, I don't know. I walked in, and they were... I stopped, my jaw clenching. She didn't even care, man. She acted like it was nothing. Kyle was silent for a long time, and then, when he finally spoke, his voice was dangerously low. Where are you? Gas station on 5th. I'm coming. He hung up before I could say anything else. I dropped my phone onto the passenger seat and leaned my head back against the headrest, staring at the ceiling. This wasn't fixable. I had known it the moment I saw her face. The moment she smirked, rolled her eyes, laughed like I was the joke. I wasn't going to be that guy. The one who forgives and pretends it never happened. The one who lets her crawl back into my bed, whispering empty apologies while she texts her boyfriend under the covers. She was done playing wife. And I was done being her fool that I didn't have to wait long. Kyle's truck came roaring into the gas station like he was about to run someone over. He barely put it in park before he jumped out, slamming the door so hard the whole thing shook. His face was a storm, jaw tight, fists clenched, eyes burning with the kind of rage only a brother could feel. Tell me everything, he snapped. I exhaled, forcing myself to stay calm. Telling the story once had been hard enough, but now that Kyle was standing in front of me, his fury radiating off him like heat, I felt something unraveling inside me. I told him everything. How I came home early, how I saw the jacket, how I walked in on them, how she laughed in my face, threw her phone at my car, called me pathetic for walking away. By the time I was done, Kyle looked like he was 2 seconds from driving straight to my house and tearing the whole damn place apart. That bitch, he seethed, running a hand through his hair. She really had the balls to stand there and tell you it was nothing? She didn't even flinch, I muttered. Like I was the idiot for caring. Kyle let out a sharp, bitter laugh. Unbelievable. And this guy, this Ethan? Who the hell is he? I don't know. I clenched my jaw. And I don't care. Kyle studied me for a long moment, then nodded slowly. All right, what's the plan? I blinked. Plan? You're not going back there. It wasn't a question. I glanced at my duffel bag in the passenger seat. No, I'm not. Good. His voice was firm. Then let's go get the rest of your stuff. Now. I stared at him. Are you serious? He scoffed. You think I'm gonna let you leave all your shit behind so she can sell it, burn it, or, God forbid, let him use it? Hell no. We're doing this tonight. I hesitated. The idea of going back there, of seeing her again, made my stomach turn. But Kyle was right. I couldn't let her control anything anymore. I met his gaze. "Let's go." Kyle grinned, cracked his knuckles, and climbed back into his truck. "That's what I'm talking about." I started my engine, and together we drove back to finish what she had started. By the time we pulled up to the house, my pulse was hammering in my throat. The adrenaline was back, stronger than before, but this time it wasn't panic. It was purpose. Kyle parked behind me, killing his engine with a sharp flick of his wrist. He was out of the truck before I even opened my door, standing beside me like a bodyguard. "Let's make this quick," he muttered. I nodded, gripping my keys. The porch light was on. She was waiting. I stepped inside first. The second I crossed the threshold, her voice sliced through the air like a knife. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me." There she was, standing in the middle of the living room, arms crossed, lips curled into a smirk so satisfied it made my blood boil. She wasn't surprised. She wasn't confused. She was entertained. "You actually came back?" she sneered. "What? Did little Jakey need Big Brother to hold his hand?" Kyle let out a low, dangerous laugh. "You must be real proud of yourself, huh?" Ashley turned to him with an exaggerated eye roll. "Oh, please, Kyle. Spare me the Big Brother act. Your brother's a grown man. If he wants to run away because he can't handle the truth, that's his problem." Kyle took a step forward. "The truth? The truth is you're a lying, cheating piece of—" I grabbed his arm before he could finish. I wasn't here to argue. I was here to be done. I looked Ashley dead in the eyes. "I'm getting the rest of my stuff. Move." She didn't. Instead, she laughed again, softer this time, shaking her head like I was a child throwing a tantrum. "God, you're so predictable. I knew you'd come crawling back." Kyle bristled beside me. "He's not crawling back, dumbass. He's taking what's his and leaving. For good." Ashley ignored him, taking a slow, deliberate step toward me. "Where are you even gonna go, Jake?" Her voice was syrupy sweet, fake concern dripping from every word. "You think you're just gonna pack up and move on? That's not how this works, baby." "Baby." I felt Kyle stiffen beside me. He hated that word coming from her mouth almost as much as I did. I smiled, and that's what finally made her flinch. "You don't get it, do you?" I said calmly. "This isn't a fight. This isn't some game where you get to win me back. I don't want you, Ashley. I don't even hate you. I just don't care anymore." For the first time all night, her expression cracked. Kyle chuckled. "Yeah, sit with that." Ashley's mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. I watched the wheels in her head spin, watched her scramble for control, but it was gone. I turned my back on her, and then Kyle and I walked upstairs like she wasn't even there. Upstairs, everything felt wrong. The bedroom, the same one I had slept in for years, felt foreign now. The sheets were still messy from them. The air still carried the scent of his cologne, and suddenly, I couldn't pack fast enough. Kyle moved with purpose, grabbing my things like he was raiding enemy territory. "Tell me what to take," he muttered, "before I start throwing all her crap out the window." I yanked open my dresser, shoving clothes into my duffel bag with rough, jerky movements. "Just my stuff. Everything else? I don't care." Kyle's gaze flicked to the framed wedding photo on the nightstand. Without hesitation, he grabbed it, turned it face down, and tossed it onto the floor. A sharp noise behind us, footsteps. Ashley appeared in the doorway, leaning against the frame like she was watching a comedy show. Her arms were crossed, one perfectly manicured brow raised. "Wow," she drawled. "So this is really happening, huh?" I didn't answer, didn't even look at her. Kyle, though? He was done playing nice. "Go away, Ashley," he said, voice low and deadly calm. She ignored him, her eyes locked on me. "You're making a mistake, Jake." I shoved more clothes into my bag. "No, I'm fixing one." She let out a sharp laugh, shaking her head. "Oh, come on. You're acting like this is some huge betrayal. It's not. It was just fun. It didn't mean anything." Kyle let out a bark of laughter. "Jesus Christ. Do you hear yourself?" Ashley waved a hand dismissively. "Oh, spare me, Kyle. Like you've never made mistakes." He snapped. "You weren't a mistake, Ashley. You were a choice. You made a decision. And now you're pissed that he's not rolling over and accepting it. Ashley's face darkened. Oh, please. You think he's some perfect saint? He's boring. He's predictable. He's a coward who doesn't know how to keep things exciting. Kyle moved before I could stop him. In 2 quick strides, he was in front of her, looking down at her with pure, undiluted hatred. You think cheating makes you exciting? He said, voice quiet but sharp as a blade. You think screwing some loser in your husband's bed makes you powerful? Ashley didn't answer. Kyle scoffed, shaking his head. Nah, you're just pathetic. For the first time all night, Ashley looked uncomfortable. Like maybe, just maybe, she had miscalculated. I slung my bag over my shoulder, grabbed the last of my things, and walked past her without a second glance. Kyle followed. Ashley didn't stop us this time. She just stood there, silent, watching us go. We didn't say a word until we were back outside. The air was cold, but it felt cleaner out here, untouched by her. I breathed it in, trying to shake the last bit of her from my system. The house, the memories, the poison. Kyle opened the back of his truck and tossed my suitcase in like it was garbage. Let's get the hell out of here. I nodded, moving toward my car. Then her voice. You're making a mistake, Jake. I stopped, exhaled slowly. Don't turn around. Just leave. But Kyle? Kyle wasn't built like that. He turned on his heel. Ashley, shut the hell up. She ignored him, eyes locked on me. Where are you even going? Huh? You think you can just drive off and be happy? You're nothing without me, Jake. I turned around then, slowly. Ashley smirked like she had won something. You're going to regret this. And that's when I smiled. Really smiled. No, I said quietly. I regret not leaving sooner. For the first time all night I saw it. A crack. A flicker of something that wasn't confidence. Wasn't amusement. She had thought I'd break. Thought I'd stay. Thought she could twist the knife and make me crawl back. But I didn't. I turned my back on her one last time. And this time I didn't stop walking. The second I hit the road, it was real. I wasn't going back. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Never. Ashley was gone. The house was gone. The life I thought I had? Gone. And yet, somehow I felt lighter. Kyle was ahead of me, his truck leading the way like a shield, making sure I didn't hesitate, didn't turn around, didn't doubt myself. But I didn't. Not even once. I drove in silence, the weight on my chest slowly lifting with each passing mile. My mind should have been racing, but it wasn't. The noise was finally gone. Half an hour later, we pulled into Kyle's driveway. His house was warm, familiar, safe. Everything mine hadn't been for a long time. Inside, he tossed me a beer and flopped onto the couch. So, he said, cracking his open. What's next? I took a long sip, letting the cold drink settle in my chest. Then I smirked. Really smirked. Divorce. Kyle grinned. Hell yeah. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through my contacts until I found the name I was looking for. My lawyer. I hit dial. And just like that, I was free.